Good morning. Good morning, one and all who have joined in today for the webinar. It is Anthropology webinar. Everybody, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, ma'am. I'll do. Alright. So good morning, one and all who have joined in today for the online intercollege webinar on importance of digital marketing and its career opportunity. I, Ms. Chavi Shah, Assistant Professor from BAMMC Department, would like to take the honor and once again welcome you all. It also gives me immense pleasure to host the webinar because today through this platform and webinar, we are going to learn something on digital marketing. Before I start with the introduction of the college, I would like to take God's name and be thankful for this moment of knowledge.
Ma'am, your voice is not available. Ma'am, we cannot hear you.
Okay, so the history. The college was established in 1963 in the memory of Sir Mathuradas Vasanji, Sheikh Laherchand Uttamchand Javeri, and Sri Jeevanlal Chennai, and by their descendant Sri Pratap Singh Vasanji, Sri Pratap Bhojlal, and Sri Rasiklal Chennai, with the aim of providing quality and value-based education to the students in suburbs. The college is affiliated by University of Mumbai. To keep pace with the changing times, the college has extended modern facilities and amenities to the student. The college is also blessed with a campus and a huge playground, which is very rare sight in a city like Mumbai. The institution is growing its reputation by conducting various professional and internationally acclaimed certified courses. The college encourages various sports events and social activities to give the value-based education to its learners. The institution is housed in a spacious building with an intensive playgrounds. It is located at close proximity to Andheri East Railway Station. In the year 2003-2004, the college was accredited with A grade by NAAC. So here are some of the self-financed courses which the college provides. Bachelor's of Science in Information Technology, second Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, Bachelor of Science in Biotech, that is biotechnology, and the fourth one is Bachelor's of Arts in Multimedia and Mass Communication, Earlier, it was named as BMM, that is Bachelors of Mass Media, and currently it is known as BAMMC, that is Bachelors of Multimedia and Mass Communication. So we'll quickly look about what BAMMC is all about. It is a 3-year degree course designed to prepare efficient, competent, and quality media professionals. It's a career-oriented course that throws up active options at the end of 3 years. The quality education and training with the help of modern teaching aids equips students with required technology and understanding of media to be able to work proficiently in the industry. The students are exposed to the fieldwork in the media right from the beginning in the form of assignments, projects, industrial visits, seminars, and workshops. All our faculties are media professionals with wide-ranging experience of working in the media organizations. The course promotes the freedom, obviously, of thought, creativity, and expression. This is our computer lab where the computers are highly speed computers, also with internet, Wi-Fi, projectors, sound systems, etc. Here we also run the digital marketing, which is Google certified course, and also we provide with other media software courses to the students to get a job and industry ready. So I would like to start with the introduction of a pillar of strength of our institution, Mrs. Jyoti Gaitonde. Ma'am, words can neither qualify nor quantify how helpful her guidance and advice has been. She leads her colleagues and gets them to follow a vision of quality and value-based education to the students. Her valuable inputs and her compliments on our performance both motivates and inspire us to do better. Her leadership skills and years of experience makes it easy to manage our department and even with wider, diverse professional background.
मैम माइक ऑफ हो गया था.
Ma'am, your mic is mute. Ma'am, we cannot hear you.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Can you all hear me, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, sorry. There was some network glitch. Okay, so I would like to introduce our HOD of the department, Professor Manisha Mehul Sayani. She is one who transforms our mistakes into valuable lessons. Her eye for perfection, punctuality, and leadership has made us more productive and converted all our weak skills into strengths. She has an amazing ability to bring out the best in each one of us. She is kind and understanding. She is our obviously charismatic leader and our pillar of strength. Our assistant professor, next Namrata ma'am, Namrata Indrani Singh. She is again someone who is very approachable and helpful.
Ma'am, again your mic is mute. Ma'am, mic mute.
Okay, so our non-teaching staff, Mr. Mukesh Verma, we could not have imagined any work without his help. His love and passion for technology are fabulous. He is passionate and hardworking. He handles all the digital work extremely very well. So this was the introduction and more about the college, staffs and non-teaching staff. Now I would want to call upon Professor Manisha Sayani, our HOD ma'am of the department, and request her to throw some light on the add-on courses run in our college, as well as give a gist about today's webinar and our guest speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Charmi. It was such a wonderful introduction. So, hey guys, this is Professor Manisha Sayani, and I'm the head of the Department for Mass Media Related Courses here at MBLU College since 2015. Being associated with a lot of colleges across Mumbai and a whole lot of students, I realized that most of the students struggled due to the gap between the theory that they learned in the college and the practicality that is required in the job industry. Hence, in the year 2015, I started an add-on course culture at MBLU College. So add-on courses, it is one biggest strength of the BA MMC department, at MBLU College. Some of the add-on courses that we run here are digital marketing, which is Google certification course, where till date we have successfully completed 19 consecutive batches. We also have graphic designing, photography, content writing, and much more. We've had in-house students who enroll for these professional courses, but we are proud to say that we have also professionals from the industry, that is from TCS, Accenture, Wow Studio, and many more organizations, candidates to come here to learn digital marketing to upgrade themselves. The main aim behind conducting these courses is only to nourish the students with knowledge, brush up their hidden talents, and give them a thorough practical knowledge of the theory part in syllabus. And last not the least, to make them industry ready, to make them job ready, so after graduation, they can quickly move on into the corporate culture with a lot of ease. So in the last 2 years, the world saw a huge shift, from offline to online in almost all sectors. So keeping that in focus, today we have invited our guest speaker, Mr. Abhishek Mittal. Sir, are you with us here?
Yes, I am here, Nishal. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes, hi.
Hi. So I'm going to quickly, take this time to introduce to you to our guest speaker, Mr. Abhishek Mittal. Mr. Abhishek Mittal presently is the founder and the Chief Strategy Officer at Being Social, which is a 360-degree digital marketing agency. It is a 360-degree creative digital communication agency founded in the year 2012 in Mumbai. Before that, Sir has also worked with SD and business operation strategy. He also carries a very rich experience in the section in charge and brand activations at the ITC Limited Company, New Delhi branch. Sir has also been industrial trainee at ITDC Ashok, that is Alliance Hotels, New Delhi. Apart from all of this, Sir has been working with a lot of FMCG companies, hospitality, and many more industries. So here we have with us a very skilled, industrialist, entrepreneur who works, for all the below the line activities in the digital culture as well. Before I hand over this, platform to Abhishek sir, I would also want to introduce to you what Being Social is about, the industry. So Being Social, it takes care. One second, sir. Being Social takes care of all the online prospects and needs for any digital presence for a company, brand, or personality. As the agency is 360-degree, provides its clients with services like web services, search engine optimization, social media marketing services, digital strategies, as well as crypto marketing services. Being Social has a list of awards and mandates, okay, to its name as well. You can see right there on your screen. It has been awarded with a lot of mandates as well as awards by various agencies, as well as it has a huge, impressive client line. And some of the big names that we have is Kotak Mahindra. We also have ITC Limited. We have APP Maza and much more. So being social as an agency not only is an Indian agency, but it has strong roots internationally as well. So it has its presence all over the globe, that is Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Gurgaon, UAE, Australia, and I'm sure many more would be on their plan. Okay, so not taking much of the time, I would really warmly welcome. We have here with us the Abhishek Mittal from Being Social, okay, who will share his experience in the industry in the field of digital marketing and beyond. So over to you, sir. A very warm welcome. Really want to appreciate the time that you are giving to our participants here, sir. Over to you.
thank you, ma'am. And I want to extend my best wishes to you and Charlie for the wonderful introduction. With that, I also want to say hello to my young friends. I can see few of them have switched on their cameras, so I can make out their faces and see how young they are.
So once again, I request the participants, if you guys are comfortable, it would be lovely if you can switch on your cameras so that the interaction is a little more motivating and a little more on the realistic level. Thank you.
Yes, and well, I'll yes, thank you. I think that should be swell. See, one of the thing, and also one thing which I have kept in mind is to talk to you guys, not to present anything to you guys. Although I have a presentation which I will open and share few of the slides here and there, but majorly we will talk. I've attended few of the sessions in the COVID, and I usually, whenever someone puts out a presentation, I go to sleep. So I don't want to do that to you guys. We'll talk, and I would request you to keep it as conversational as you guys want. Anyone can raise their hands. There's an option there, I think, on Gmeet, or you can just interrupt me, ask me a question, and any which ways we will have a detailed question and answer session later.
Yes, sir. We will have the question answer session if
Okay.
it's okay with you at the
No,
end.
no, it's okay. Then we will wait till the end, but just keep on.
Yes, yeah. In case somebody who hasn't
Yeah,
met at that
yeah.
time, then you can raise your hand and kind of.
Yes. See, also with this presentation, what I have made sure is to not bore you with a lot of technical details. I have come here to talk to you as a well-wisher, as someone who's been working in industry, and without any berefting myself of any other agendas. I want to talk to you as someone, as a friend. Okay. So with that, I also want to thank the staff for the introduction. Now I'll share my screen for first part of the presentation, and then I'll just talk to you guys. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I mean, although Manisha ji has covered most of my professional journey, I want to also give you my philosophy in terms of what do I believe in. So I strongly believe in the philosophy of passion, perseverance, and pride. And these are three of my corner pillars which have sort of helped me a great deal in my professional, personal, and overall spiritual journey. Now, when I say passion, in advertising industry where I'm working, and my core job is to do brand strategy. One of the thing which differentiate us with any other industry is the passion. The second one, which helps me a lot, the quality or the philosophy is perseverance, and that is a very strong message which I want to relay on to my young friends here, that persevere. And when you are at the cusp of uh, entering an industry which is digital marketing, which is extremely gratifying but also extremely challenging, you need to have that perseverance. And the third, which is the most important tool of all, is to take pride in your work, pride in your achievements, because this industry, uh, the media industry at large, is driven by that. If you don't have the pride in yourself, in your work, it is very difficult for someone to grow in this industry. Now, one of the question what I was asked to answer in this, and I have sort of summed it up, and I have sort of, summed it up for you guys. So the question I want to answer for you guys or help you make the decision is this: can I make a viable career in digital marketing? Now, I meet a lot of people, I interact with a lot of my own relatives who call me for my advice and all of that. I always go back and tell them to read about something which I have followed my entire life. Now, I'm sure lot of you would be aware of these terms. A lot of you would know of these terms, of this concept. Sorry, uh, this is called Ikigai. Now, this is something which has stayed with me. I discovered it when I was in college, and it has stayed with me up till now. Ikigai basically is a Japanese term where iki means life and gai means value or worth. Together, it represents the value of your life, what you're leading, or the worth of your life. In more simpler terms, ikigai basically represents the purpose of someone to come and lead this life. Okay. Now, expanding on it further, it basically uh, talks about four factors, and then in the today's presentation, all we will do is to to talk about these four factors only. So, ikigai, as you see, is a sweet spot between four things. One, you love it. Second, the world needs it. Third, you are paid for it. Fourth, you are great at it. Uh, if we go ahead and see, and a lot of people ask me, a lot of people have, I've read, a lot of them I know have this contemplation, is that what is my dream job? Ikigai is the area which represents the dream job. So if you have what you are good at and you combine it what you love, you come up with a thing which where you say that this is my passion. What you love and what the world needs becomes your mission. What the world needs and what you are paid, what you can be paid for becomes your vocation. What you can be paid for and what you are good at should become your profession. But if you combine all of these four things, which uber successful people have combined in their lives. So if you look at people like you know you take any industry. So you take Jeff Bezos, you take Elon Musk, you take then the sports people, Sachin Tendulkar, Roger Federer. You take in acting our top actors. Okay, these are the four things which combines for them. They love what they do. The world needs what they do. They can be paid for what they do, and they are really good at what they do. So when these four things comes together, it comes together as ikigai. As the purpose of someone to be in that field. If all of these four things comes together for any of you guys, most of you guys, then nothing can stop you in succeeding in whatever you want to do. Okay. So now, in terms of with respect to digital marketing, you know, Essentially, to answer the first question which we raised, whether you will be able to make a viable career out of this or not, you know, the first thing is, uh, I mean, this can be answered with these 4 points. Do you love it? How can you be great at it? Sorry, there's a spell mistake there. World needs it. And are you paid well for it? Okay. So these are the 4 things. Now, of course, I would presume with all of you guys being there in their Saturday morning on a weekend, so early, being there in this session, I mean, I can assume that you already love digital marketing. Okay, so this basically answers the first part. Also, this can only be answered by you guys later on. I will tell you how can you be great at it, whether world needs it, and what is the degree of the need for that, and are you guys paid well for it or not? Essentially, because I'm one of the person who pay a lot of salaries, so I know that what is that structure looks like. Okay, with this, I will stop sharing my screen and I'll go back to addressing you directly on camera. Okay, so yeah, uh, I see we have not dropped many people. I mean, people have in fact increased, so I assume people are there with me up till now. Uh, this is something which is important. I mean, and if you feel that it is philosophical, then or you need to clarify certain things with me, you can do it later as well. I'll be more than happy to.
No, I just we mirrored the link. So you are actually we have more than 100 participants. So you are
All right.
of on 2 links of Google.
Okay,
So,
that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
yes,
So-
we have 2 links right now because this platform will allow only 100 people.
Yes.
So we've mirrored the link, so we have
All
a
right.
lot of participants on the other link as well.
All right. That sounds wonderful. So, as I was saying, there were 4 questions essentially. The first question is answered by you guys, whether you love it. The 3 questions are, whether you are great at it, world needs it or not, or are you paid for it? Okay. So I'll again go back to the to sharing my screen and we'll start. Okay. Now see, if you look at it, the first question let's answer together, whether world needs it or not. Now, or the world needs digital marketing or not. So now, in the year 2007, the internet penetration in India was 4%. In the year 2021, the last year, at the end of the last year, the internet penetration in India is 47%. So that is the increase of 12 times over the large demographic, as large or demographic as we have in India with over 1.3 billion people. If you look at current internet audience, internet penetration in India, it is half. It is 666 million people who have the exposure to internet. Now this is a very huge number, and I want you guys to understand the enormity of this number. When extrapolate the awareness of a mass population from 4% to 47%, there are a lot of interesting things which happens. And this is right now is what it is not done yet, because right now, we are at 47%. If we look at the more developed economies of, let's say, a US or any European country, we see that the penetration level there is more than 85%. So there's still another 30% 25% of the growth which will happen in the next few years. Now, when I say that this kind of a growth will happen in the next few years, and over the last 10 years, 12 years, the number of the kind of growth what we have seen, what it does, it creates a lot of implications for the society. You know, one of the large implication of the society, and I'll explain you with few of the examples. One of the large implication it does is that it creates innovations and it creates new technology. The moment we uh, the new technologies are innovative, the new technologies enters our lives, it immediately causes a consumer behavior change. You know, one of the consumer behavior, for example, we today uh, Uber, Ola, Swiggy, Zomato, for example, has altered our behavior. You know, and one of the very key consumer behavior which I want to tell you about is how we all go, we all drive, we all are taken around. One of the behavior of asking directions from the people has actually gone almost completely away from our lives. We have Google Maps for that. So whenever there is a huge technology which has been innovated, there is always a lot of consumer behavior changes which happens. The moment these consumer behaviors happens, there are new products and new technologies, new services again which are innovated to support them. The old one will get, so I mean, the classic example here could be the evolution of how we consume music over the years. In the 90s, although you guys are very young, I mean, but in the late 90s, we had cassettes, audio cassettes. Immediately that gave away to the CDs. Then came iPod, and then came our smartphones. And now everything is on cloud, everything is subscription based. So the entire idea here is, and with the YouTube and everything, the way we used to consume our music has completely changed. So now the people who had that skill set of making those audio cassettes, if they don't change, if they don't adapt, they will get redundant. And similarly, a lot of the current workforce, because of these changes, are going to get redundant. Unfortunately, but that is the truth. Now, that's a bad thing, but that also a silver lining for the young generation. Also, a silver lining for a young nation like India is to sort of, stem into that and, create new skill sets and become the ecosystem of the future. Now, when I'm talking about the ecosystem of the future, I quickly, without going into too much of details, would want to tell you about a little bit about how the evolution has happened. So you have the Web 1.0, which was essentially the late 90s, early 2000s, then you had basically the Web 1.1 was a one-sided communication. You had certain information and you were telling people on and talking to them. A small part of people created the content, and the majority of the data or the content that came from directories and submissions and all those things, and it was not created by the consumers. The data was always meant to be consumed by the consumer. Web 2.0 are the interactive web platforms, so that is where the social media boom started. So Web 2.0 basically added a lot of, while Web 1.0 was very technical and was only for the people who were of certain stature, Web 2.0 democratized internet. It added a lot of people in the fold, and Web 3.0 now will, it will make every person in the world be linked to the internet. Web 3.0 will be ubiquitous. So you would know, you would unknowingly use internet without knowing. So one of the example I could give you here is that how we take our subconscious decisions. There are certain decisions of, let's say, for example, continue to breathe. We don't have to think and plan to continue to breathe. That is something which happens automatically. Similarly, Web 3.0 will have you use internet without even thinking about it. The IoT, Internet of Things, the other things, the metaverses, the machine languages, all of that will help you sort of get into that journey. So, in totality, right now we are at the cusp of the next great uh, evolution, if I may say so. So you had Web 1.0, the Web 2.0 created a lot of jobs, created a lot of growth for people, for uh, humans, for young people like you, and now Web 3.0. So you are at a very interesting, very exciting phase of your life. You know, this is the you guys are in fact the fortunate generation to be able to enter this thing. And a lot of education or those things will happen. I would suggest you continue to sort of uh, pay attention to the staff, to the faculty, and see where they lead you to. Now this is your Web 3.0. This is the so this is where, in terms of how the world is sort of looking into it, how the world is, does the world needs it or not? So I think I answered the first question. The world needs it, and world is at the evolution of the Web 3.0 technology. They need people like you. Are you paid well for it? Now, I mean, there is this chart which I have taken for market education, which I believe 4 to 8 years, 8 to 30 lakhs is the package which people look into it. But for me, more than anything else, of all the industries, the kind of exponential growth I have seen people taking in digital marketing is unparalleled. So few of the other departments could be data science and now AI and machine learning. But apart from that, I think digital marketing is right up at top. Now then, which leads us to our third question. How can you be great at it? Now, yes, of course, I mean, there is no silver. It will sort of how
Your
uh,
there is a lag in the internet.
there's a lack in the internet, is it? At my end?
Now, audible, sir. Now you're audible.
Okay, so
If you could just
uh,
kindly repeat that one sentence.
okay. So my thing is that how we can be great at it. So my entire thing is that there's no silver solution for it. I mean, of course, you will have to be improve daily. You have to do really hard work daily. You have to really pick up things. It's a new industry. You're building your strength on, your skill sets on. But there are few points which I want to talk to you about, apart from going really deep into it. So the first one is network, network, and network. So continue to do what you have done today. Caught up, joined this link, and made an effort to network with me. And of course, the wonderful faculty we have. But apart from that, continue to network with people. This is very important. It will help you meet like-minded people. It will help you sort of understand and pick up new things every week. Plan and see what new you can join, okay, and network. Second step is to join a course or the certification. uh, it's important because it will help you sort of formalize the education. I mean, if you will want to learn a lot from your end, there are many things which you can learn. But try to learn something which can be standard from the course or certification. But of course, the course need not be a paid one also. I mean, there are YouTube courses, there are one of my friend who is running a very successful e-commerce business actually didn't have the money to get his website developed. So few years back, 7, 8 years back, he joined YouTube and learned there how to make a website. He's doing really well now. Third is watch the community. See what are the digital marketers like me, like others are doing in the community. Okay, this is very important. And then explore internships. You can look into things, and you can look into exploring the different internships what you have in the market. You can continue to talk to agencies, talk to companies to give you guys a certain smaller projects. We love to do that. That really will help you sort of connect and start getting the cusp of start understanding about the digital marketing field.
So I just want to ask you one thing here.
Yeah. Yes.
When students are looking out for internships
Hmm.
and they approach companies like you,
Hmm.
what is it that you are looking in a student to hire him or her as an intern?
Clarity of thought. The most important thing for us is the clarity of thought for us from a student, what he wants to do. We sometimes get resumes which a student, we could feel that a student has done a mass mailer. They've sent it to us and they've also sent it to 100 other companies. That's a very big turn off for all of us. So a student, and I can guarantee this, all the students here, do a little bit of research, focus on the company you're asking the internship from. Ask them how. You can talk to them in terms of how you can help them, and that will help you a lot in getting that job.
So if there is a student who is absolutely a fresher in this industry,
Hmm.
you think companies would hire them?
See, fresher.
As in
Digital-
in the field of digital marketing, as in no knowledge, probably how to even understand the YouTube or do the logins, or how to, what are the essentials or the steps to, set up a blog, or how to run a paid campaign on Facebook, or organic, traffic on Facebook post. So without these basic knowledge also, I just want to really understand, do companies hire interns?
See, the problem with the things which you just said, no, actually you don't need to get into a company to know all of these things. All of these things are free for people to use. So you can they just Google and they can know all these things. But yes, the companies, we would need apart from the clarity of thought, yes, of course, we would need someone to be aware of at least these things. It will be a too much of a hassle for someone who's completely green to come into a company and
Yeah.
and a lot of these things can be self-taught,
Yeah,
or
so
they can
just
join
to sum it
different
up, if I'm not wrong, either the student can learn all by himself or herself through, online free courses like YouTube and all that, or self-research and self-constant, engagement of himself or herself with those platforms,
Right.
or then finally get some kind of a help from, a course which is paid or not paid.
Yes,
But
of
they
course.
need to have some basic knowledge. I would say a little bit of ABCD for them to get selected even at the internship level.
Yes,
right?
of course. That goes without saying, and that is why in my second step I have clearly mentioned join a course or a certification, because that will help them stand separately from the crowd. Also, it will help you know these basic things for company to sort of take a punt on you guys for the new people. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the step 5, what you should guys to do is to know your strengths. I mean, this is very important because I see a lot of people who come. We have to understand that digital marketing is not one homogeneous activities which happens. So there are a lot of things which happens. There is a creative unit, there is a technical unit, there is the media unit, there is the research. So it is very important that you guys know your strengths. Uh, there are people who come to me and say that they want to become, they want to join the creative team. But then when I test them and I talk to them, I see a lot of challenges in their language skills. But they're very good at in their analytical skills. They're very good in picking up new things. So I tell them that maybe this is not something which where you have your strength. Your strength lies in some other thing. So it is very important that someone should know their strength and act accordingly. So these are the solid 5 steps which basically will help you be better in digital marketing. So that answers our second question. That answers our third question. Does world needs it? Uh, and does it pay well? And how can you be great at it? So these are the 5 steps. If you do these 5 steps over a period of time, over the next 3 months, you would see that you know a lot of things. You have started doing a lot of things, and you are really good. You've become really good at it.
So one question again from my end.
Sure.
If I'm not wrong, digital area or this industry is not static. It is very, very dynamic.
Yes,
right?
of
With
course.
a lot of these algorithms and a lot of these things changing. So anybody who is aspiring to be in this industry, I usually tell my students like how a doctor is constantly reading and understanding new diseases and medications and new methods to cope up what is happening in a human body. Similarly, if you aspire to be a digital marketer, you constantly need to understand because the interfaces change, the algorithms change, and a lot of other things change. So am I right on this? As in, do they need to really read up and keep themselves updated even after doing any kind of certification courses which they've done 6 months back, and then now they feel that humne kiya, humko aata hai, and then when they sit onto the system, they are kind of a little lost.
No. So yes, of course. See, one thing which happens is, I mean, not in a 6 months, but yes, in a few years' time, if you don't do something and you're not keeping you updated with the things which are things the way they're changing, you will feel that change extremely drastic. But digital, in the way digital evolves, is basically, if I have to use one analogy, imagine a frog in a water which you're boiling. And I'm not sure if the students know about this, but if you put a frog in a boiling water and you slowly boil that water, the frog will continue to adapt their body temperature until the time when it is too much for them and they'll die there.
Right.
So similarly in digital, the way the technologies are designed to evolve, they are designed to evolve in a very slow but gradual manner. So it doesn't evolve, and the evolution doesn't happen over 6 months period. It happens every other day. So there's a small change every other day. So if you see, your phone will ask you to download the new version of all the apps which you are using every week or every other week. So that is the new things which the overall as an industry they are changing. So it is very important what you have said, that to keep up with all of these things, to keep on reading, but also to sort of identify why those changes are happening. That is something which comes from the consumer behavior. So ultimately, everything in digital stems from the user. So how we had the wonderful prayer before we started this session, and we bowed down to our dear gods. Similarly, in digital marketing, our gods most of the times are our users. So we need to bow down to their behavior, the way they are changing and they are evolving. So
Tracking consumer behavior and interaction on the digital fronts.
that is one part of it. But of course, we need to understand the consumer motivations, why consumer is the way is behaving the way they are behaving. So it's a very complex, very large piece of study, which it's the consumer research and consumer study is a very large subject. So but yes, that is also very important. Also, a lot of these things come from that paradigm. So yes, so these are the step fives of the knowing of the strengths. Then one of the other thing, which of course, I mean, if some of you don't want to get into a digital agency, but you want to you're a business owner and you want digital to succeed your businesses, then how you can do it. So first of all, I would say again, there are few things. Get online. Don't worry about whether you know things or not, whether you feel you're ready or not. Get online. You will do mistakes, but you will learn from them. Second is study your competition. See what the competition is doing. That is very important. Learn from them. Identify the gaps which they are not doing. Third, focus on your strength. Never focus on something which you don't have. So focus on your strength. Fourth, remember hard. So this is what I usually tell all my clients. Our content, your efforts has to be honest, authentic, regular, and diligent. So remember, hard is the way you can be successful in digital marketing for your own businesses. Then identify push versus pull. So this is very important in terms of it means the traffic, whether it's a push traffic or a pull traffic. So I'll just give you an example. Your push traffic is basically when you'll have for example, I don't need a stuff. I'm just browsing my internet and I see a product, I immediately get interested and go and buy it. So I am a push market, a push traffic. I did not think about that product unless until I saw the ad. And then you have pull market, where I'm searching for something and then I'm choosing the best of the things from there. So it's very important for business owners to identify what kind of a market they are targeting. And then once they've identified that, they can then further work on their strategies, which of course I'm not sharing here because it's a very long.
Also, one thing just to again ask or get clarity. A pull market is where the consumer is predetermined in his head as to what product and brand does he want.
Yeah,
right?
The need is clear in the pull market.
Yes, and a push market is where there are some promotions coming up on the screen. A product is thrown while they are browsing. And that is probably the time when the consumer thinks, "ठीक है यार, ये भी ले लेते हैं," या we can give a thought process. Am I right?
Yeah. Largely, see, the need is clear in both of the things. In pull, the need is extremely clear, and the customer is in the stage of intent. So they are looking to do certain intent. While push is basically where a customer's need is there in their mind or in their subconscious mind, or it is there. You show them the ad, and then that needs come at the front, and then they do the intent.
May I just ask you one? Like, let's say if I'm wanting to book a hotel on Booking.com, this is what I have kind of noticed. That I am browsing Booking.com and go and all these places, let's say hotels in Lonavala.
Right.
I check compare the prices on all these various digital platforms, and I don't go ahead with the booking. Within
Right.
half an hour, there will be a mail shot out to me saying complete your booking. So that
Yeah.
would be a push strategy, right? If I'm not wrong.
That will be pull.
That would be pull strategy.
Yeah. Because you have already shown the action and intent.
Okay.
See, I mean, let's not confuse it with push email.
Okay.
Those are different things. But the push traffic is basically where the need you have created. So, if let's say you have been shown an ad of a hotel or a resort in Lonavala, and after that you think that, oh, I have not taken a trip with my family for a long time now. Maybe I should do it.
Okay.
That's become that is at large is the push.
Okay.
What you're saying, the example which you have given, there's a term called drip emails, or the push emails, basically. So that happens when you already have shown a certain bit of intent, done a certain bit of action on the website, and then you are, communicated by the companies or by the digital marketing teams. That is where you already are in that pull segment.
All right.
Although they are pushing out to you, but you have already entered the pull segment.
Understood. Thank you.
Then, of course, the customer life cycle of awareness, interest, desire, and action. I would recommend that every one of you can read about it, CLC. This is very important. I will not go deeper into it because it's again a very large discussion. And of course, it's very important to understand the platforms and customers. So, search has a separate objective. Facebook is very different from Instagram. Instagram is very different from Twitter, and Twitter is very different from LinkedIn. So, it is important for business owners to sort of identify the platforms which is most responsible for them and can focus on them. The important, coming to the last part is that how you can look into the Pareto's principle. So vital few versus trivial many. So basically, this principle, what does it suggest is that we often do 80% of the work to get 20% benefit, and ignore the 20% critical things which should. So in your terms, if I may tell you, there are certain important chapters, and then there are certain chapters which are not so important. The important chapters form 20% or 30% of the load and gives you 80% marks. And then there are certain other chapters which forms the 80% but gives you 20% marks. So basically, Pareto principle says this. It says identify the vital few things. So similarly, identify the vital few platforms which you can look into it, and ignore, not, don't do it. Ignore at first the trivial many. So that is the few things which you should do. Also now, and this is something which I will talk about to you outside the thing, because I think it was touched by ma'am also a little bit about bridging the skill gap. Okay, so let me just close this. Yeah. Hello. Yes. So, and this brings me to the last part of the presentation. After that, we can have the question and answer rounds. So, what is the skill gap, and what is, as an employer, we are facing? So one of the things which we are facing is that how there are, there are things where, as we were discussing earlier, you guys in your mind feeling you're absolutely ready to you being absolutely ready. Okay, that is one thing which is very important. In terms of how you guys can bridge that skill gap, I think in that manner there are certain things which are extremely important. So one of the things which we spoke about, for example, the certifications. Now these are the certifications we have to study, but it sort of prepares you and to gives you the confidence to be industry ready. So for example, you have Google certification. Pay pay very important due to that. That is very important because immediately Google has certain standards. Google will only uh, you know you cannot just pass a Google certification without studying or without knowing stuff. Once you know about them, then it is important for them to sort of crack it, and that becomes very important at a company's level at our end to sort of look into your profile and say like, okay, this guy is something who's industry specific, industry ready. So those certifications are built in that manner. The other thing I want to tell you guys is to become proactive. You know, uh, a little bit of research before applying for this, for any job, for any company will help you a lot. So do only two things whenever you're applying, for example, in an advertising agency. you know Study the advertising agency, study about the people who have started it, the people who are working on it, and then uh, look into their clientele. Once you look into their clientele, look at the top 5 6 clients they have, and then look at their social media handles and the things which they are doing. you know any person who's going to take your interview, most of it they'll ask you things which are pertaining to those clients, indirectly or directly, because they will be hiring you for those clients. So those are the things. Be a little proactive. Also, read and read. There are a lot of things online, there are a lot of books, there are a lot of literature which you should read. Keep yourself updated with the things. There's a lot of stuff which you should read. So yeah, so that's all about it in terms of how you guys can make yourself job ready. And of course, I mean, you could look into the other courses and the other things which your colleges have associated with. Those will help you also a lot. So with this, I'll close my presentation. It's already 11:30. We can have the interactive session if it's all right.
This forum right now, this platform is open for anyone to ask any questions, doubts, any guidance that you require. It's open. So anyone who wants to ask questions, can we please request everyone to put on your cameras so that this session can be a little more interactive and a little more meaningful,
Yes, guys.
Yes, Amir Khan. Any questions from your end?
So nowadays I am doing a content writing. So in content writing, they taught me that you have to write a 3 paragraph, and in that you have to write not copying from a Google, and you have to write about your own mindset. So we don't have that much the mindset. So, sir, what we can do to get a more attractive about content writing?
Sorry, they told you to write.
Yes, sir, content writing.
They told you to write the content, and what about the mindset?
So what we mean is, sir, if I'm not wrong, that today's generation, probably everybody does not have a very strong mindset to create quality content. Right, Sameer? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So how do they go about in creating meaningful and quality content which does not have any plagiarism?
So see, I'll tell you about two things. First, I'm hearing a lot of I think, Syed, if you can mute yourself. Yeah.
I've
Thank
done
you.
that. Yeah.
So, if the first thing I want to clarify for you is two things. One, a writer versus a copywriter or a content writer. A writer who write books, for example, any writer, Amish Tripathi or Chetan Bhagat or these people, they write what they feel like. So they write for themselves. If you compare it to a content writer, the content writer writes for their audiences, for their consumers. Okay. So if you're talking about content writing, your perspective will come from studying your audiences, studying your consumers, talking to them. That is the best way for you to understand the perspective they're looking at.
Oh. But sir,
Also, I want to suggest you a book. So it's a book called "How Do I Become a Better Copywriter." If you can search, this is something. This will be the book around. Let me just search and tell you. Yes, it's called the Adweek Copywriting Handbook, or the other one is the Copywriter's Handbook.
So guys, please jot it down. And others also who have a similar thing in mind or are thinking to go in this field, you can always jot this piece of information down. Anyone else who would want to ask a question? Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Sir, can you give some?
Can
Give
you please
some.
put on your camera first?
Yes, ma'am. Can you give some tips on how to get organic reach?
Organic leads. First, the best tip is to have a kick-ass product and the service. So your happy customers gets you the best organic referral leads. But apart from that, focus a lot on the SEO, search engine optimization. Focus a lot on the quality of the content which you have written for your website. Focus a lot on the blogs. Focus a lot on the Quoras, Reddit, these kind of platforms. That will start getting you a lot of organic leads. Also, if on the social media, focus on the trending things. That will keep you relevant and that will get you a lot of organic leads. But first of all, good product. Always remember, the good advertising of a bad product will kill that product faster.
Yes. Anyone else who would like to ask questions? Guys, come forward and take this opportunity. You all can jot down your questions so that you all can read it out to him. Yes, Sujoy? Any more questions? I think there is still digital
Hello, sir.
shyness. Yes.
Yeah. Hi.
yes, sir. I have my own company for
Mhm.
recycling. In that, we are taking e-waste. Then my main motive is that I want to take all the companies in my hand. There is in India there are 5 or 10 lakh company. I want to handle all that in my own video. If the value of that company is more, I will give. But the company should be in my turn only. And how I can handle it, that sir, I want to know.
So you have a company in e-waste, and you are
Yes,
saying
sir.
that you want to reach out to the potential
Yes, sir. I want to reach
customers.
all Indian companies. I want to take all the e-waste from all the companies.
See, there are two, three things. One is that your company is very purposive. So there's a higher environmental purpose which is attached with this. Okay. So make one thing is that you can attempt to combine these other companies or let them feel that they are doing something for the environment so that they associate with your purpose. Second thing is that be extremely transparent.
Yes.
So what happens is that a lot of these technologies itself, or a lot of these companies, the way they'll work, that working itself will attract a lot of people.
Yes, sir. My main
So-
motive is yes, sir. My main motive also that clean India.
Hmm.
That is my motive, main motive. So
Yes.
I was also working on that too.
Also, try reaching out to the government. I mean, I'm sure they will also
Yes.
will help you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Any
you.
other student who would like to ask a question, please?
So, the copywriting का जनरल लेवल क्वेश्चन से पूछने का रहता है या फिर क्लाइंट का रिव्यू उसमें?
Sneha,
Sorry?
your camera on, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Dobara, can you just repeat your question?
Yes, sir. So copywriting in we need to ask question in general level or like client review type.
In copywriting,
Yes, sir.
see, copywriting क्या होता है basically? Copy आपका, आप जितने भी ads बनाते हैं, for example, बजाज का एड हमको सबको याद है, विच सेज हमारा बजाज, नए भारत की नई पहचान हमारा बजाज. ओके, सो दैट वाज अ कॉपी, राइट? आपको Amazon या इनका एड्स जो आया और दिखाओ, यू नो, दैट इज अ कॉपी. फेविकॉल के अगर आप एड्स देखेंगे तो सी, कॉपी हैज अ वेरी वाइड thing. It is not about customer, it is about how you can give a customer a reason to purchase or to think in a certain manner while making it interesting, while not making it very verbose, keeping it short, keeping it powerful. So that is the copywriting. Content writing, while is very different. Content writing is where you write the content, your website content, a lot of those things. While copywriting is a very different skill. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Hi.
Hi, sir. Sir, can you please speak or just explain the class like topic tha SEO. So can you please talk about on-page optimization and off-page optimization, like why it is important or what is important, like on-page or off-page or both?
Both, because see, what happens is that the SEO, the way it works is primarily Google. When you search something, it shows you results. So Google, what it does, Google has crawlers. Google crawlers. They'll go on the internet and they'll crawl every website. According to the website, for a particular keyword, they will sort of make the directory of the results, so that if you will search, so if let's say you search webinar in India, okay, so webinars in India, according to the Google has already ranked certain websites according to the crawlers, and they will will show you those results. The entire SEO basically is how can we improve on these rankings. So your on-page optimization and off-page optimization. So on-page, as the name suggests, on-page optimization, anything which happens on the website is on-page. on your internal website. Everything which happens outside of the website in your off-page world is the off-page thing. So while on-page will help you sort of make your website ready for the crawlers, it will make you ready for the it will make your website SEO ready. You know, the off-page will improve your domain authority. So the moment your domain authority is strong and your website is ready, so both of them come together, and that will result into someone getting the higher result and the in that ranking of Google. So that is basically yes. So both are important and both are extremely critical for people to get good organic traffic and leads.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, I want to ask you one question.
Ji, madam.
There is something known as binge eating.
Right.
Binging, as in, you are watching a series. So, and, what are your thoughts on binge shopping now? With so much of, is it going to be the new, yes? Yes? Am I audible?
Yes, you are. So is it the new?
So is it going to be the new trend? Like, because I am a media professor.
Okay.
And I am teaching a lot of advertising, branding, marketing, to a certain extent, agency management as well. So there is a very gradual but a very strong shift from cable TV to these handheld OTT platforms, and now we've become so impatient that we don't want to go back to the cable. Jabhi ek serial ya ek episode aaya, then next 24 hours or next week, we are so like finishing the series and all.
Yeah.
But again, what I'm also seeing is that with Amazon and Myntra and so many other these platforms where you can actually shop, and especially when it comes to Amazon, the convenience of shopping where you buy a product and there is always a return, if the product is in good quality or intact, there is going to be an immediate payback. Is there something called as binge shopping which will slowly kind of take over the market and people are just like spending? What are your thoughts on that?
So essentially what you are asking me is about the consumerism and materialism.
Yes. So I'm sure because you're in this industry, you would be seeing that trend, as to the consumers' interaction on these various platforms and the sales growth, from offline to online sector as well, is
Yes.
what I.
Yes. So see, I'll tell you what is happening is, everything, of course, ultimately the marketing companies want the consumerism to go up, because that is essentially where they'll make the money. So if you see online versus offline, how the behavior, and that is what I was talking about, how the consumer behavior has changed. So you essentially, in the first part of the consumer, in the online marketing, the companies essentially they focused on removing all the exit barriers or entry barriers for people to do online shopping. So one thing which you said about return, that is the entry, that is the barrier to the objection someone could have that I have not seen the product. It might not be the way it is there, or it might not fit. If you then look at the other barriers, so that is the first part essentially. Then the second part focused on how we are looking at now when the barrier is there, when someone is already pro online buying, online shopping, how can you make it now from negative to zero? Is now you can make it 0 to positive. So that is where your ATMs and all your digital wallets have come into the picture.
Yes, cashback offers and coupons.
Yes, of course, yes. So that is where all of these things come, and they'll sort of work on it.
All right. So is there a natural constant high kind of what to say consumerism which you all are seeing growing on the online platforms like compared to the offline?
Can you just please repeat the question?
Yeah. So over a period of time, are you seeing a kind of growth, constant growth of online shopping compared to offline shopping?
Yeah, of course. There's a huge trend,
Okay.
and especially aggravated after COVID.
COVID. Yes. Do you think this bubble would burst because?
No, it's a new consumer behavior which is getting created.
Okay, so it's not just a fad, and then everybody is going to be. It's here to stay, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
of course, because it's a new behavior which has been created. It's not something where so it's not a trend.
Right,
It's not a fad because it's not for a short period of time.
right,
The behavior which has been created, and then it will be there for people to stay.
right.
So
It's kind of a habit which people are slowly getting into, like
yeah.
you're like just scrolling and okay, ye acha lag gaya, or I'm bored, I'm watching web series and I'm bored, I'm watching
Yes.
products online, and then okay, I'm buying this out of impulse.
Right. Yes.
All right, thank you. So, any other questions before Sir wraps it up? Because we have a time frame till 12 o'clock and we don't want to take much
Hello,
of his
sir.
time. Yes, Raghav Tiwari.
What is affiliate marketing and how does it work? I want to know
What is
that.
affiliate marketing?
Yes, sir.
Affiliate marketing basically is when you take out leads from a third party website. So when you take out leads or traffic from a third party website, that is called affiliate. You are basically being affiliated with that website to sort of give you leads and traffic.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, guys, we are just posting, sir, one second. We are just posting one link on the message here. It's a feedback form link. Request all the participants here, once Abhishek Mittal sir exits from this webinar, that's when you need to take 2 minutes of your time to fill this feedback form. All those feedback forms that we get will also get participation certificates, digital participation certificates from our end. We will mail it to you directly. So filling the feedback form is really important so that we really understand, how interested, are you in webinars and seminars like this, so that we can work towards it. So please take 2 minutes of your time once this question and answer session is over with sir to fill this form so that we can also send you our, digital certificates. So do we have the last question on house here? Anybody who would want to ask a question before? Yes. Yes, Riddhi.
Sir, as a budding copywriter, on which platform should I focus on? Traditional copywriting platform or digital copywriting platform?
As a budding copywriting this thing, where?
In which platform should I focus on? Traditional copywriting platform or digital copywriting platform? Traditional copywriting platform as in newspaper or magazine. It has more content than digital platform.
See, focus on your consumers. Never focus on the platform, focus on the consumer. Copywriting has to be connected directly with your consumer. Platform should not matter. So you will see ads, you will see communication which are extremely laddered in digital, and you will see smart ads where not more than 2 words have been used on the ads and they are can't winner. So focus on the consumers. Let me just tell you, focus on the idea. Don't focus on the platform. The idea will dictate the execution. Don't let the execution dictate your idea and your copy. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So Joy, do you want to ask?
How to grow your social media handles by using a nice hashtag, but paid traffic are not coming.
Using the right hashtags, but
The traffic is still not coming in.
It's not coming.
So I'm sure you're asking about Instagram. So there are certain tools you can use like Instagram hashtag generator. You can search them. That will give you top working hashtags. You can use those hashtags.
So any really like free tools which you would like
Yeah, so there are many. I mean, you can just Google Instagram hashtags creators.
Okay.
There are many which will come.
All right. So really thank you, sir, for all your time. Yes, do we have another question? The last one, because we don't want to really extend this. Sir also would have a lot of other commitments. So the last question here. Anybody? So Joy, are you in the process of asking a question? You're done? Okay. All right. So really thank you so much, sir. We at MVLU College, okay, as well as the entire management, our teaching staff, and a few of our students who have joined here for the webinar, because this webinar has a lot of other students from other colleges as well. It's an inter-college webinar. So we really are grateful for your time, your expertise, and your insightful knowledge within this industry. And yes, one question: can some of the students, if we want to send some of the students as intern in your organization, what would be the process like?
So later on, I can introduce our HR with you guys, and you can share that email ID with your placement cell, and I think they can directly get in touch.
So really thankful for this time of yours, and yes, we do intend to keep in touch in the future, with you as well as your organization. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Yes. All right, students. So, of course, MVLU students as well as students from other colleges, we are really grateful and thankful for your participation. Hope this webinar gave you a lot of, overview about the digital marketing industry. As we said, we have shared a link on the message platform here. Kindly click on that link and please provide your valuable feedback so that we can over and over again come up with such initiatives in the field of digital marketing and further education. So again, thank you everyone. Signing off from this webinar. Until we meet again, thank you so much. Please do not forget, because once you leave this meeting, you may not get that link. We are not sharing that link on the WhatsApp platform, because there are a lot of students who have registered, are on the WhatsApp platform, but have not joined the webinar today. So this feedback link, which is in the message, is only and only for students who have joined the webinar. All right. So if you fill that feedback, then by Tuesday or Wednesday, you would get a certification from our end onto the email ID which you have, given us while filling the form. So to get the certification, it is very essential for you all to please give us a feedback. So again, signing off. Thank you. Until we meet again, kindly download the link, and it will just take 2 minutes, but please give us your feedback. Thank you again. Any questions or any students from other colleges, any questions from your end or anything that you would want to ask or share with us as an institute? Okay, so I assume there is none. Thank you again for your time.